Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the Prime Minister has warned a spike in coronavirus cases in Victoria should serve as a wake-up call. The pandemic is not over. New cases overnight have rendered doubt about the easing of border restrictions here and across the country.
Queues of cars swarming to Melbourne clinics, recording 16 of Australia's 18 new cases, Victoria battling a coronavirus spike.
The thing that keeps me up awake at night is the thought of a second peak. We have seen very concerning increased numbers in recent days. We don't want this to get away from us.
6 virus hotspots identified across Melbourne. All non-essential visitors warned against travel in and out. The Victorian government upping testing, left fighting to avoid a feared second wave.
The early signs are that it's not escalating at the moment. We have to make sure that it's brought under control.
It's left other states reconsidering border openings, Western Australia scrapping a date to allow travellers in, New South Wales cautioning residents.
Nobody from New South Wales should be travelling to those hotspots at this present time, and people should consider whether they should be travelling to Melbourne at this point in time whilst community transmission is where it is.
States will make their own calls ultimately on what's best in their best interests, but there will be outbreaks, there will be cases. What matters is that we've built the protections to deal with them.
The Prime Minister warning it's a wake-up call, the virus threat still looming. In Tasmania, the government making no border announcements, a decision still expected on Friday.
We won't do anything that puts Tasmanian lives at risk. The Premier said that he'll have more to say about the issue of borders reopening later this week, and so I'm sure he's weighing up all of the information available to him.
I've been on the record encouraging the relaxation of border restrictions, but understand that in Tasmania we do have a demographic of older people and people with comorbidities.
You look at South Australia, WA, Northern Territory, other states that are in a similar position to Tasmania, we should be looking at working with them to open up our borders to ensure that we can have safe travel.
But a trip to Victoria could be a long way off for Tasmanian travellers. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
2 masked offenders are at large after an overnight theft of $20,000 worth of cigarettes from a Midway Point takeaway store. Captured on CCTV, the burglary was over in minutes. Police believing the incident was planned.
It's 3:20 a.m. and the operation is underway. Masked offenders using bolt cutters to break into cabinets at the Midway Point store and takeaway. Busting open the doors, their target is cigarettes. A lot of cigarettes. Packed into tubs before the offenders fled through a back window. Employees at the small family-owned store left shattered when they came into work this morning.
They broke in from our back window near the roller door. So they cleaned out our smoke cabinet. Yes. Probably $20,000 to $25,000 worth.
A huge impact for the small store. Insurance won't cover the entire cost of the internal and external damage, as well as the stock losses. This CCTV footage handed over to police, showing the burglary finished in just minutes, but its impact longer lasting.
Their entry has been gained by force, and it appears that the offenders have actually planned the incident.
Pretty devastated, to be honest. You know, we're a small family business, work for the community, and to have someone just come and take or feel that they can take what they like, it's not a nice feeling at all.
In separate incidents, fire crews were also kept busy with 2 deliberately lit fires at a Lutana unit overnight. Initially called to the Risdon Road property shortly after 9.
They've jimmied a window open. There was appeared to be a couch or a lounge just inside the window that was jimmied open, and they've ignited that.
Called back to the same unit at around 7 this morning after neighbours smelt smoke.
Called back to a separate fire in another location inside this unit that we're now investigating how and where it started.
Authorities are urging anybody with information about either incident to contact Crime Stoppers. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
The 36-year-old man from Waverley has been charged after allegedly injuring a man with a knife in Launceston last night. Police responded to the incident on Charles Street just before 6 o'clock. The The victim was taken to the Launceston General Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the parties are known to each other and believe it's a domestic-related dispute. The man has been charged with a range of offences. And for anyone seeking support, you can contact 1-800-RESPECT. A woman who fired a single shot in the air during a 17-hour siege in Launceston will likely be spared prison when she learns her fate tomorrow. The court heard Naomi Leah Mounties feared for her life during the ordeal and only fired the weapon to placate the man behind the siege. Our reporter Sean McComish has more.
Naomi Leah Mounties was studying nursing and had completed certificates in aged care and disability services when her life took a terrible and dramatic turn. The day was December 7, 2018. In this home on New World Avenue, Trevellyn, gunman Brett Robinson Stacey held police at bay for 17 hours. He had arrived at Mounties' home unannounced. Armed with a .22 sawn-off rifle, he fired at officers surrounding the property. Inside, Naomi Mounties tried in vain to convince him to lay down his weapon and surrender. Initially, she feared Robinson Stacey was a threat to himself. Soon she feared for her own safety. He told her he would use her as a human shield during an escape. Eventually, he warned police he was about to shoot the mother of two. When he began counting down from 20, Special Operations stormed the house. Defence lawyer Evan Hughes told the court she was cowering on the floor, terrified. She was expecting that she would be shot by Mr Robinson Stacey, keeping with his promise to police. However, earlier in the siege, Mounties was witnessed firing the rifle once into the air. She was later charged with recklessly discharging a firearm. Today, she pleaded guilty. Asked by Justice Robert Pearce why she picked up the weapon, Mr Hughes answered simply, to placate Mr Robinson Stacey. Last week, he was sentenced to 8 years behind bars. Both Crown and Defence lawyers agreed that Mounties had cooperated with police throughout the siege. Justice Pearce told her that he would not consider sending her to prison, but would instead examine imposing a community corrections order. She'll return to court tomorrow.
More Tasmanians could have their dream home, with the state government owning a stake in the property. It comes as the Tasmanian Economic Regulator approves a 1.38% drop in electricity prices.
With bills piling up for many Tasmanians, one is set to become cheaper. Electricity prices dropping from next month, residents could see a $29 saving over the course of a year, while businesses could save up to $46.
We're amongst the lowest electricity prices in Australia, and we have a target to be the lowest electricity prices in Australia for residential and small business customers by 2022.
It's a small saving, but every dollar counts when you're dreaming of owning your own home. The state government's home share scheme helped Ashley Bennett and her family into the housing market. Now it's being expanded.
Really, without it, I wouldn't have been able to build my house. In my position, I wouldn't have been able to get enough to build a home or get here at all.
Tasmanians are eligible for the home share scheme based on their income and the number of people in their home. Households earning up to a maximum of $171,000 can buy a house with a deposit of just $3,000 or 5% of the property price, whichever is greater. The state government will own 30% of the property, which is then paid back over 30 years as part of the mortgage.
For qualifying families right now getting in using home share, they might also be eligible for our first homeowners grant of $20,000, and also some of them will be eligible for new builds for the Commonwealth's $25,000 home builder grant as well.
Labor welcomes any initiative that helps more Tasmanians own their own home, but says a multifaceted approach is needed.
You can't just hope one initiative will solve the housing crisis in Tasmania. It won't. You need to have a clear strategy that delivers not only affordable housing, but it delivers thousands of jobs and thousands of apprentices and trainees in the building and construction sector.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
The decision to move the proposed Northern Prison has failed to win over opponents of the project in Westbury. Today, protesters held a small gathering days after the state government revealed the site would be a further 2 kilometres away from the township.
It's a stone's throw from the other site. preliminary investigations show that it's a very odd site to us. It's got a priority habitat overlay over the top of it.
The government insists the new site is suitable and addresses concerns from recent surveys. Hobart's CBD could be taking a slower pace, with plans to reduce speed limits to keep pedestrians safe. But as more businesses reopen post-COVID-19, some in the retail sector say the move could deter shoppers from coming into the city.
Traffic moving slowly through the heart of Hobart's CBD, set to slow down even further in the wake of proposed new speed limits.
What we're looking at is reducing speed limits in the city from 50k an hour down to 30k an hour and to 40 outside of those central streets in the city.
Those 30km/h zones, including Collins and Liverpool streets between Murray and Argyle and Elizabeth Street between Melville and Morrison, in a bid to increase safety.
Separation between pedestrians, active transport such as bicycles and also motorists, and so we would support anything that does actually increase that safety.
There's been over 1,000 incidents in the city in the last decade, so if we can reduce that and provide safer streets for our pedestrians, then that's a good outcome.
While speed limits would be slowed, advocates say it could actually lead to reduced congestion.
And certainly hope that we see the reduced number of incidents may actually fix the traffic congestion, but that's yet to be seen, and we'll monitor that as we go.
But some in retail feared the move could put the brakes on customers accessing businesses recovering from COVID-19 closures.
Making the speed limit zones so complex will definitely deter people from wanting to decide to come to the city to shop. By reducing speed limits in the city, we just reduce the amount of people who actually want to come here in the first place.
More people will be walking, hopefully. The more people that walk past your shop, the more chance they've got of purchasing something. So it actually creates a better environment and a better amenity for the city.
A proposal will be put forward to a council committee on Wednesday. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Hockey Tasmania's email system has fallen victim to hackers. This message was sent to recipients offering free $750 hockey kits. The organisation has warned it did not send the email and it should be deleted as it contains a malicious link. It's now working to address the issue. Emergency food relief is set to be a little sweeter for those in need, with Juicy Isle donating thousands of bottles of juice to the Hobart City Mission. The charity says it has seen a significant increase in demand for food relief since the start of the pandemic, and a sweet treat will be welcome to those seeking their help.
When you're living on the street and you've got absolutely nothing, those things become quite special. So to be able to have a glass of orange juice is quite special.
You know, just some hope, just a treat, if you like, and being able to consume something that they probably don't normally consume.
The donation will also be used in the organisation's Safe Space program, directly supporting those sleeping rough.
Good evening. Plenty of cloud cover today with showers over the south and southeast. Hobart and Devonport 13 degrees, Launceston 12, Burnie 14. Temperatures close to average. Smithton 14, Grove and the Islands 13, Lower St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Strawn all 12, Ooze 11 and Lyre 7. The top rainfall today was 26 millimetres at Mount Wellington. Tea Tree Point had 25 millimetres as that cloud brought the shower activity, more of it over the south-southeast. The complex area of low pressure directed a broad region of cloud to Victoria, South Australia and New South Wales. A cloud band with a cold front as well to the west near WA. Tomorrow the low remains to our northeast. A high moves over Central Australia ahead of the next cold front. The winds south-southeasterly at 20 to 30 knots over the west and south and at 10 to 20 knots elsewhere, but an increase is expected over the east later. Strong wind warning, that's from Flinders Island to Sandy Cape and for southeast inshore waters. We have a flood watch for catchments in the northeast, east and southeast, a minor flood warning for the Huon River and a warning to sheep graziers for the southeast, Midlands and east coast. Tuesday in Hobart, rainy and 13, 100% chance of rain. 13 for Adventure Bay, rain easing from Tarraleah with 9 the high. Launceston 14 with rain easing, an early shower from Devonport 14 and 13 for Bridport. Burnie, an early shower clearing, 15 the top, 15 also for Strawn, mostly sunny for Marrawar and 14 degrees. And 13 for St Helens with rain, same for Swansea, and 13 also for Whitemark. Wednesday, showers again with rain over the central south and east, easing. Showers over the north and west on Thursday, extending throughout in the afternoon. Snow to 800 metres. Snow to similar levels again on Friday, along with a shower over the central and western regions. Showers increasing over Perth tomorrow. A possible shower for Adelaide and Melbourne. Sunny in Sydney, and fine and sunny for points further north. Showery over Hobart, it's 12 at the moment, 9 degrees in Launceston, plenty of cloud in the air, and 10 degrees in Devonport. Great news, Kim, that the shortest day of the year is behind us, but I still think the coldest days are ahead of us.
True, but summer's coming. I tell myself that every time. And that's your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.